it's Nilorcus here, and for the past few days, I spent quite a bit of time playing this new MMOFPS called PIONER. I completely forgot about this game. I just saw an invite in my email for their playtest, so I jumped right into it. So what exactly is a PIONER? It's an upcoming open-world FPS game with the strong MMO and survival elements. The game is set on a desolate post-apocalyptic Soviet-era island that has been ravaged by a technological catastrophe. The game is supposed to offer a blend of PvE and PvP experiences. You start the game with a cinematic introduction that explains how this post-apocalyptic world came to be, which sets the stage for what to come. After that, you create your character. The character creator is pretty solid. You have a good amount of hair and facial hair options. You can pick your skin color and some other features. It's nothing overly complex, just basic creator you'd expect for this type of game. In my opinion, it's more than good enough since you're most likely gonna be covered in full armor anyway in this type of world. Once you created your character, you dropped into the first hub area. This is where you see other players running around, pick up your initial quests, and you start talking to NPCs. The cool feature is that everything seems to be voice acted.
The messy fight in the... Sure, after all...
You have dialogue choices to make when you're interacting with characters, which is a nice touch, even if the choices aren't incredibly impactful at this early stage. This hub has everything you'd expect from a typical MMORPG town. There's a vendors to buy and sell gear. You get some introductory information about different factions in the world. It really feels like a classic quest hub. I even found this fun arcade where you have a bunch of mini games. You can punch a dummy and I always appreciate the little details like this in games and kind of fun things they add. Eventually, the quest leads you to go after this Raven faction. The first main task is to head into the swamp and deal with them. The funny thing is, the game doesn't actually give you a weapon through the initial quest. I didn't realize this at first, so I went into my first combat encounter with just my melee weapon. As soon as you step into the swamp, you feel the survival elements. The environment itself feels dangerous and everything seems like it could kill you. I tried to just run through the area and I immediately got hit by something I didn't even see. It definitely makes you feel that the world is dangerous and makes you think twice about where you're going. Finally made it to the Raven's Den, which is essentially the first kind of a solo dungeon you go through. I went in thinking I could handle it with my melee weapon, expecting the enemies to be unarmed as well. I was so wrong.
The gods need a sacrifice, and they will get an offering.
I got shot in the face almost instantly, and I couldn't get near anyone without dying. It was actually pretty funny in a frustrating way. I really don't know what I was thinking. I should have thought about bringing a gun. So I went back in town to figure out where I get a weapon. It turns out one of the vendors actually sells some basic starting guns. After buying one, I was ready to go try again. The quest was still quite challenging, even with the weapon. It wasn't complete cakewalk. You still have to play slowly and carefully because it's very easy to die in this game, which is something I really enjoy. After clearing out the Raven's Den, the game told me to follow the trail. I followed it until I reached this strange-looking rock area, and suddenly I was dead again. I honestly have no idea what killed me here. It seems like you die a lot in this game without really knowing why, but maybe that's just a part of the learning curve or the jankiness of the game. The good thing is, you don't seem to lose your items when you die, only some durability on your gear. I did read that you might drop your loot in PvP, but I wasn't able to try that yet, so can't really comment on that. Somehow I managed to get past the rock monster and made it to the mine. Here we go again with the more enemies. The combat here was again quite challenging. The NPCs in this game were surprisingly good aim, but at least there's plenty of corners to take cover and avoid some of the damage. After dealing with the enemies in the mine, we head back town, finish the quest, and you get your reward. From there on, we're able to do a bunch of other quests in town. They're pretty standard MMO style quests.
And you're gonna get... I mean, please...
like cleaning signs of the walls or healing newcomers. The game definitely has all the beats you would expect from like an MMORPG, including talent trees where you can spend points. So what are my overall impressions after playing for about 3 hours, I think? While that's a pretty short amount of time, the game made enough of an impact to make me want to keep on playing, which is always a good sign to me. If a game can keep me interested for the first few hours, I usually don't bother continuing playing. I'm done with this whole idea of it gets good after 100 hours. I just don't do that anymore. I think it's a stupid concept. This being a playtest, the experience was quite janky. There was a lot of lag. I got disconnected a lot and I got stuck a few times. But I feel like that's to be expected from a game that seems to be somewhat early on. What really excites me about this game is the potential to finally have like an MMO FPS game. I've been waiting for a great MMO FPS. ever since I played Firefall back in the day. There's just so much untapped potential in the space, I think. There is just something special about the immersion you get from first-person view in an MMO world. I also really enjoy the post-apocalyptic theme and the feeling that you're constantly trying to survive with the danger lurking around every corner. I think one of the weaker points for me right now with the game is the actual gunplay, which is a bit shame. It just doesn't feel as satisfying as it should in a shooter. There's just something about the way the guns feel when you shoot that just feels a bit off to me. I think a lot of people who play FPS games understand the kind of feeling I'm talking about when you're shooting in a video game. But I think it's a good core experience, so I hope the developers focus on improving the gunplay. It is definitely one of the more important things to get right in an MMOFPS game. I also didn't get to experience other parts of the game, like the clans or the PvP, so I'm definitely looking forward to playing a bit more and just see if I can get into those experiences a bit more. I definitely want to try the PvP, but I think the lag might be a bit too much, and it would make the PvP completely frustrating experience at the moment. So I might have to wait for them to develop the game a bit further before I dive into the PvP part of it. But overall, I think there's a lot of potential here. I really want a true open world MMOFPS game to succeed, not just these lobby-based shooters like Warframe or Destiny. I just want a persistent world where I can shoot things with other players. I know it's a difficult type of game to create, but I'm glad to see that someone is trying at least. And I think Pioneer feels like it's getting pretty close to being that kind of game, so I'm more than happy to wait and see how it develops. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience with Pioneer so far. I would love to hear in the comments what you guys think about this game. Do you also see the potential? Do you also want to play an MMOFPS game? Or just leave your favorite emoji to help me out. Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.